Yo, what's good, YouTube, man? It's Gary with the Fan TV, man. Back action of this video. At the content of this video, go smash that like button at the content of this channel. Go and subscribe, man. Look. All right, man. The Ravens win a AFC North Classic versus Cincinnati Bengals, 41-38. A game that had many ups and downs. The Ravens trail the entire second half of that game. A lot of swings, right? So we're gonna get into it. Good, bad, and ugly. But first we're gonna talk about the good part about it, right? The stand-up performer, he sits alone in this category because defensively it wasn't very impressive, and offensively there were some guys that did good things, right? Like Zay Flowers, like Rashad Bateman. But this game came down to Lamar Jackson, man. Lamar Jackson was by far and away the best player on the field today. Once again, he now improves his record versus the Bengals, I believe, to 9-1. Okay. All right, let's just talk about what Lamar Jackson did when trailing versus the Bengals. This is from PFF. 16 of 23, 242 total yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Okay, time and time again when Ravens needed to play, Lamar Jackson was there. All right. Overall for the game, 26 of 42, 348, 4 touchdowns, 119.9 passer rating, 12 carries, 55 yards on the ground. Okay. Lamar Jackson was Mr. Do-It-All once again. He threw the cape on this game because the Ravens needed him to throw the cape on, all right? The last 2 games, right, you get your, you get your Cowboys game, you get your Bills game, right? With a run game, Derrick Henry, offensive line, they get, they do their thing, right? Lamar Jackson can play back a little bit. This game, they needed Lamar Jackson. And what Lamar Jackson do? He's 2-time MVP. He showed you why. He shows up in big games, okay? So, that's the overarching theme of this game, right? Lamar Jackson improved why he's definitely in the upper echelon of quarterbacks, obviously, and that he's once again in the MVP conversation, right? He'll be there every single season he plays just because of how good he is, but I know a lot of people last year had a problem, fluke MVP, whatever. No, he's not a fluke MVP. He's that guy. All right, when the Ravens kind of exploded at the end of the second half, right? And at the end of the first half, right? And they were down, 24-14. The game has completely shifted. The momentum has completely gone. That's when Lamar Jackson really turned it up. Okay, Ravens were pretty good in the first half, right? They had solid drives. They got the run game going. We talked about it on the game preview, right? Run the ball. You're gonna be able to run the ball, but this game wasn't a run script, right? That got away from the Ravens. Okay, so the passing game had to shine, right? So that means Charlie Kohler steps up. Isaiah Likely gets 2 touchdown catches, okay? Mark Andrews has an appearance this game, man. Mark Andrews showed out. What Mark Andrews had today? 4 catches for 55 yards, and he should have got a face mask at the end of regulation that probably would let the Ravens end the game there, right? Because the Ravens probably scored a touchdown on that drive the way they move it down the field, okay? Charlie Kohler, like I said, 3 for 64 on the touchdown. Isaiah Likely only has 13 yards on the day, but 2 big touchdown catches, right? Lamar Jackson drops a snap, which unfortunately happens again at the end of the game, but drops a snap, stiff arms 94 on the Bengals, throws him to the ground. That Lamar Jackson stiff arms underrated, by the way. He does it to defensive linemen a lot, okay? And throws an incredible pass across his field, and Isaiah Likely's there to bring it down, touchdown, all right? So definitely one of the plays of Lamar Jackson's career, definitely one of the plays of this season, all right? So for the Ravens, they needed to show that they could win a game where the run script was taken away from them and their backs were against the wall. All right, they needed a game where they could show that they have pass catchers that's going to make plays for them. Zay Flowers gets a lot of talk, right? I've gone to the season saying many a times that Zay Flowers can prove to be a wide receiver 1 kind of player for the Ravens if given the opportunity, right? Like I said, 7 catches for 111 yards out there, all right? The Bengals couldn't do much with Zay Flowers. Could the Ravens use a bigger body wide receiver to catch jump balls? Yes, of course, right? Every team would love to have that kind of target, right? Not denying that, but we cannot downplay what Zay Flowers can do when the ball gets put in his hands, and when we're not just making him run screens and swing routes. When they let Zay Flowers play wide receiver, he's a damn good wide receiver. All right, Rashad Bateman, multiple catches. I talked about him, but this Ravens pass game, and then the offensive line, right? Rosengard goes out for a little bit. He was injured. He came back in the game, but for the most part, this offensive line has found their rhythm and they're playing really well. All right, Falele really, I gotta watch it back, but He had that one holding call. Besides that, pretty solid, man. Now Lamar Jackson made a lot of plays to escape sacks, right? Well, a couple of plays to escape sacks, so that counts too. But overall, offensive line was good, man. The Bengals tried to blitz Lamar Jackson all day long, and he had an answer for it, right? It was only on that last drive of the end of the fourth quarter where the Bengals got pressured. They might even hit Lamar Jackson's arm, so he short arms that, right? So besides that, man, great game for the offensive side of the ball. I love what I saw from the offense, all right? Under center play action, getting Derrick Henry on the edge. They did everything they needed to do to win this game, all right? Now, like I said, AFC North Classic. Ravens go to 3-2. That's great. We got to get talk about the defense. All right, we got to get serious. Okay. This defensive game was one of the worst showings the Ravens have had in 2 years. Right, since Mike McDonald first came on the scene, and you had them blowing the game versus the Dolphins, and you had them when Joe Burrow threw for 500 yards. What was that? 4 years ago, 3 years ago now. That's probably the worst defensive game I've seen since then, particularly in the secondary. Okay, this is my issue with Ravens secondary right now. All right, Marlon Humphrey catches the interception, so this is not about Marlon Humphrey. I know a lot of you guys want to talk about Marlon Humphrey, things like that. He is by far the Ravens' best corner, right? He might be the Ravens' most consistent player in the secondary, right? Kyle Hamilton does his thing, but as a whole, Marlon Humphrey is doing a lot of good things out there, okay? Catches a pick that gets the Ravens really back into this game, okay? And allows the game to go into overtime. But the rest of the guys out there, too many big plays. I love Wiggins. I love his confidence. He's getting beat a lot over top, all right? Brandon Stevens, he does not get his head around, so they're targeting him. Even on regular slant routes, they're targeting him. The number of catches T. Higgins and Jamar Chase had on Brandon Stevens, I would love to see the number. Okay, T. Higgins almost has 100 yards. Jamar Chase almost has 200 yards this game. All right, they both have 2 touchdowns. All right, okay. Then we talk about Eddie Jackson. Eddie Jackson doesn't need to play any more snaps for the Ravens. He's done. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, Eddie Jackson is finished. Every time Eddie Jackson's on the field, he's confused. He's looking around. He doesn't know where to go. Doesn't know where to line up. Doesn't know where he's supposed to be. On the touchdown at the end of the half, him and Marlon run into each other because they guard the same person. Now, to me, some people say that might be a blown coverage on Marlon because he's supposed to be in that deep pass, in that deep quarter of the field. That very well could be the case, right? So I don't deny that one, right? But, excuse me, the T. Higgins second touchdown where he's pointing at Marcus Williams. What do I do? He jumps outside, T. Higgins inside, slant. You have no help there, right? This happens every time Eddie Jackson's on the field consistently, okay? Darius Washington is by far the better player. He knows the system by far, and he never looks confused when he's out there. Darius Washington is in attack mode. When I watch Eddie Jackson play, he's a player that's letting things happen to him. Darius Washington is making plays for the team. That's the difference, all right? Marcus Williams is even worse. $80 million safety. Jamar Chase takes that, I guess you want to call it a little swing screen, because kind of Burrow threw it out there. Jamar Chase had 2 blockers. Roquan over pursues. And Marcus Williams is squaring up Jamar Chase and just doesn't do anything. Jamar Chase just cuts inside and he's gone. Marcus Williams can't tackle. He can't cover. He doesn't know what he's supposed to do in the middle of the field. The guy last year, Marcus Williams, had 1 arm. And he was all over the field making plays. Now Marcus Williams is fully healthy and he looks unrecognizable. I don't recognize that guy. All right. Like I said, last year, I was saying the Ravens should sit Marcus Williams for safety concerns, right? Because he has 1 arm, he couldn't lift it. Like Marcus Williams is getting around the football on plays where he's going to catch interceptions if he has 2 arms, right? This year he's nowhere near the football, and when he does get there, he's too late. It's already 40 yards over his head. He looks confused out there. The defensive secondary looks confused, right? One of my keys to the game was I said that the Ravens need to show consistency in the secondary, right? I said the Bengals will go empty on you, right? They will go empty. And the Ravens look like they had no clue what to do. The middle of the field, that brings me to Roquan Smith now. The middle of the field is wide open. And Roquan is just letting balls go right past his head. All right. Roquan played good early in the game, right? He had a run stop where he shot the gap and it looked like, okay, this is going to be a Roquan Smith kind of day. But when teams drop back to pass, he's fooled right now. And they're feasting on Roquan Smith right now. All right. I don't know if it's Zach Orr giving Roquan more responsibility because the Ravens are playing a lot more dimes, so Roquan has a lot more area of the field to cover, and maybe that's just too much for him, right? Maybe they need to stay in some more nickel looks or just move Kyle Hamilton right next to Roquan, right? I know we want to move Kyle Hamilton off the edge and things like that, but he might need to play some more traditional linebacker if you're going to be in all this dime looks, right? Play him some more traditional linebacker so Roquan doesn't have so much field to cover because right now he looks lost in space, okay? This Ravens secondary had an inexcusable performance today. All right. When we saw Mike Macdonald play this team, play the Bengals, right? I hate to keep making Mike Macdonald too. I'm sorry, but it's just a comparison. Say it's going to happen for the first season of Zach Orr being the DC. Okay. He frustrated the Bengals, made them take the short underneath. We rallied and tackled. There was no getting beat over the top. It was too much this game. So. The Ravens win, but they have a lot to correct, right? They do. And it wouldn't be a Ravens game without a John Harbaugh blunder, right? We're talking about the end of the first half. Okay, the Ravens go for it, 4th and 1, and deep in their own territory, okay? Which some people had a problem with. I didn't have a problem with. Kolar gets the tush push, gets the first down. But they let 30 seconds go off the clock. Lamar Jackson has to take a play. The next thing you know, it went from a minute, like 50 seconds, to 55 seconds on the clock after 2 plays, all right? Cool. After that, the Ravens should have ran the ball and went into half. They do the first part. The Ravens run the football, and then John Harbaugh calls timeout with 40 seconds left when the team has no momentum going. So now they run another play. They have to punt the ball, and the Bengals, that leads to the big Jamar Chase, well, one of the big Jamar Chase touchdowns, right? So, yeah. All right. And special teams, Tylan Wallace not fielding that punt. That leads to the safety for the Bengals. That was a major miscue by Tylan Wallace. So if we want to talk about the 3 phases of the game, offense, defense, special teams, 2 out of 3 failed miserably today. Okay. Very, very bad, right? Y'all probably see the video tomorrow. So, but anyway, 2 out of 3 failed miserably in this game. All right. I will say this: as far as the penalties, the Ravens didn't really kill themselves in penalties, so that's a slight improvement right there. But I mean, Lamar Jackson really went team on my back. I'm going to carry you guys to the finish line. That's what happened today. All right. The Ravens defensive line I thought was okay. They got pushed every now and then, but Matabike probably had one of his best games in terms of getting pressure. Okay, but Odafe was a little underwhelming today, and so was Kyle Van Noy, right? Both were a little underwhelming today. All right, they both played. What was this, game 5? They both played 4 good games before that, so it is what it is. But they were both a little underwhelming today, if I'm being honest. All right. So for this game for the Ravens, it was a big deal, right? That you go to, first of all, now the Ravens finally have a winning record. The Ravens are 3-2 on the season. That's huge. The Bengals are now 1-4. Right, you are now 1-0 in the division. The Bengals are now 0-1 in the division. The Bengals are in a very, very deep hole to start this season, and to me, that was the Ravens' biggest competition in the AFC North. Right, Cleveland, Deshaun Watson has completely forgotten how to play football. Could happen to a better person, I guess. Right, whatever. And the Steelers, I like Justin Fields, but I'm not sure how real this is for them as far as being contenders in the North. Right, so winning this game was very, very important for the Ravens. Very, very important. And they do it, man. 41-38. We'll see what happens from here. The defense knows they got to improve, but the offense showed that in a game where the run script goes against them, where they got to throw the football, they can still come out with a big, big W. And that's a major thing for this season, right? So that's my thoughts on the game. Obviously, give me your thoughts in the comments, man. I'll reply to all the comments, man. But it's Gabe, Rich Comes Fantasy TV. I'm out.